Grand Theft Auto or GTA is an open world sandbox game which has been around for the best part of 20 years. GTA started as a 2D top-down game but went 3D in 2001 with the release of GTA 3, which is considered a landmark title due to the fact it was 3D. Overall, there are 15 games in the Grand Theft Auto series, with the fan base increasing for each game. But the series saw a massive increase in interest and popularity with the latest game in the series to come out, GTA 5.
So GTA is one of the most successful games to ever come out, with over 10 million copies sold, and that number continues to rise.
In GTA 5, you play as 3 protagonists, Franklin, Michael and Trevor. And throughout the story, you play as these characters commit heists and commit various crimes through the fictional city of Los Santos. And this is where the controversy kicks in. No matter how successful GTA has been, there's always been controversy surrounding it. And this is due to the fact you can commit heinous crimes for no reason at all. And this is where the controversy takes hold, due to the fact there's people playing this game, including...
As you know, Grand Theft Auto is a very popular game, so I'm having fun playing it right now. But what I want to find out is, why do people play the game? And how long have they been playing it for?
So when did you start playing GTA?
Like when did GTA 3 come out? Because that's probably about the time I started.
I don't know the exact date, but it was definitely a couple of years ago.
I think around the age of 6, because my mum was a bit of a bad parent and got me it.
Why don't you play GTA?
Well, I have tried it before, but it didn't seem to have a. I didn't seem to like it very much, but I have tried playing it before.
Why don't you play GTA?
Why don't I play GTA? I asked for it when I was 11, so I wasn't able to get it because it was too final.
Okay. How did you get hold of your first copy of GTA?
Well, my dad owned it, so I just played it on the PS2.
And what console was
I think that answers your question, the PS2.
I can't remember. I think I just was given it as a gift.
And what console was
The Xbox 360.
I think it was inside a Spider-Man case and they sold us the wrong game.
What console was it on?
PS2.
Would you or have you ever considered playing Grand Theft Auto?
Well, when I was around about 11, 12ish, I used to nick my brother's DS and play Liberty City. So I know what that one was like, and I did have the urge to play it on Xbox when I first got the Xbox, but when I actually did play it on the Xbox, it was terrible. It was worse than Liberty City.
I have never considered playing a GTA.
What's your favourite GTA game?
Probably GTA 3.
GTA San Andreas, I think.
It's got to be 5 just because of like the online community on it.
And why do you think people enjoy GTA so much?
I mean, it's an escape. I mean, it's just another world to play in. You never take a game too seriously.
Because you get to play online with your friends and make new friends while you're doing so.
I couldn't really say, it's just personal preference really, isn't it?
Well, the storylines, it has a very good storyline to it, and when you finish the storyline, you not only still have loads to do, you also can like meet people or shoot people or get cars. There's still quite a lot to do after you finish the storyline, so it keeps people entertained for a period of time.
So for the people who actually play the game, I think it's kind of their entertainment. With being, they can steal cars, like they can shoot people. But I'd say the only thing is that they just don't live in real life.
Some people say that GTA and other violent video games make people aggressive/violent, and this is the reason why some people commit crimes. However, people have been defending video games and said that it's not the game, but it's a mental condition that people have.
So this debate has been around for many years, and I wanted to find out what people thought, so I showed them a video containing a gamer and a doctor.
It's a controversial topic, but no argument about this. Violent video games do sell, and they sell well. People lined up starting at...
The first clip they show is just Trevor bashing his head into a pallet. Okay? And then they show a robbing scene. It's called Grand Theft Auto. The clue's kind of in the title. I haven't even gotten to the topic yet, Jesus Christ.
People lined up starting at midnight to get their hands on the latest installment of this game here, Grand Theft Auto. It's number 5 in the series. It's expected to generate more than $1.5 billion with 20 to 25 million units sold worldwide. And this got us to talking this afternoon and in our morning meeting today. A lot of opinions about this. And today we have 2 experts here who feel very differently about the issue of this video game. Scott Patterson, a longtime gamer who does video game reviews as well, and will be featured, by the way, in the upcoming documentary, The NES Club. Also, Dr. Wendy.
So basically they're saying what it looks like to me is basically a gamer and then someone that's really, really, really just against it, like probably a parent that was too lazy to take care of her own kids. That's what it looks like to me, because parents should be able to control and know what the kids can handle and blame themselves if their kids are violent, and to be fair, in kids, there is a thing you can't control in the back of your head anyway, that once it sparks, it's violent. And in some people, it's a flight response. Of course, it's the fight or flight thing. But also, if it's triggered on someone that's a bit more aggressive and is aggressive by nature, they're just gonna be violent.
Middle Miss, Associate Professor of Educational Psychology at the University of North Texas. Thank you both for coming on today to talk about this. And parents, I think a lot of them get a little bit worried every time they see one of these things show up, especially if they have the little kids. What are your thoughts on this as far as...
If they have the little kids, you do realize it's an 18+ game, right?
Continue playing.
something like this for kids?
Well, bottom line, Grand Theft Auto is not made for kids. It's been a long time since video games have been a kid's toy. The average age of a video gamer has been over the age of 30 for a number of years. And just like film, just like music, just like television, there are...
That's one thing he did get wrong, even though he is the voice of reason here, it seems. The majority of gamers aren't over the age of 30 now because it's so easy to get a hold of games. So that information was probably back in the early 2000s when a lot of
was made in 2009.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, his point was probably valid in 2000.
Carry on then.
There's content that's appropriate for kids, and there's content that's not made for them.
And you have ratings even. Yeah.
Yes, there's a rating system. It's clearly on the box. It's on the front of the box, back of the box, on the disc, title screen, everything explains what type of content is in there. But the thing is, parents today, most parents of young children are video gamers themselves, and you know it's really on them more than it is the industry or the retailers.
Now, Dr. Wendy, I know that you probably feel very differently about this. I know that the average age has gone up of the video game player, but the kids play these things still.
It's very common for children to play games that are rated for an adult, and sometimes it's with permission and sometimes it's without permission.
That's up to the parents to control. Again, if the parents can't take responsibility for their kids playing violent video games that they don't want them to play, then they're not ready for the opportunity to have kids and be able to parent. Would you say that's a fair enough argument?
But the outcome is the same. They will play, they talk about them. They have an allure that most adult things do for children, particularly when you get to 10, 11, and then up through the teens.
Let's say even for young adults, though, is there any definitive evidence that playing a violent video game, for example, leads to violent behavior any more than watching a certain TV show or movie or listening to a certain kind of music?
There's a slight difference. The issue with either watching aggressive or violent behavior, whether it's in a movie or whether it's something you play in a game, is that it tends, the research will show, to make you more aggressive in your responses. It disinhibits the amount of aggression that we see. And then
The only reason people think
those
that
are
is
the
because it's
tools that we
interactive.
use for social exchange. The other issue, particularly with gaming, is that children will spend an exorbitant amount of time playing games, and that makes them much less involved in social interactions, and so much less socially astute.
But Scott,
Video games make people socialize. Like, a lot of games force you to actually be able to communicate with people. For example, I know this game isn't related to your investigation, your research and stuff, but Counter-Strike. Yeah. As an example, when you go into a competitive game, you're forced to communicate with your teammates to be able to properly gain ground in that game, rank up, understand the world. And her argument is that, she's saying there's a slight difference between watching a film and stuff, but that's because it's interactive. Again, you need to have that sense of control. You need to know what's in the game. And to be fair, if you want to allow your kids to play games, I think you should play through them first. I think you should understand the medium before you actually just judge it from an outsider's perspective. To be fair, I don't think, looking at her and listening to what she says, I don't think she's played a game in her life that's more than Looney Tunes-esque.
quickly here, I'm sure that you would probably argue the opposite on this, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, video gaming today is social. I mean, you're online. Online gaming is the majority of gaming these days. You're on there, you're talking on the headset, you're making friends. There's gaming events all over the country. So video gamers aren't a bunch of detached introverts or whatever. Like sometimes they get painted in the media. They're some of the most sociable, charismatic people I know. I talk to video gamers every single day with what I do for a living from all over the world, and overall, there's never been one conclusive scientific study that says this causes that.
Bottom line, it's up to parents to decide, and you can bet that this one will be heavily marketed. If you'd like to join the conversation on Twitter with
So after seeing that video, who do you agree with more and why?
I agree with the guy that was a gamer himself. I feel he gave more points that were actually towards gamers, although his point about people being averagely over 30 was kind of probably not backed up by fact, because the majority of people I've played with in personal experience, and I know a lot of people have played with, are hardly over the age of 10.
I agree with the gamer, because I don't think games do cause violence. I think they're actually a good outlet for people. However, some games do need to be monitored so that children can't play them.
I'd say definitely the guy, because there isn't actually a scientific explanation behind violence being caused by video games.
Well, they both have good different viewpoints, but they both make good points. Like, people, like, the adults have been playing video games since they were kids, so they've brought their kids into it. But the game does state very clearly about the age and what the content involves. So,
and I think that's why it's such a high rating of the age. So with it being 18, if the kid says, "Oh, can I get this?" and the parent says no, and that means they're underage. But then if they get the parents' permission, I don't see why that's a bad thing. But then, like, if they just buy it on their own and without the permission, then that's just wrong, basically, isn't it? So, and then with people like from us, we're gamers, aren't we? Really, sometimes.
I don't play GTA, but I do play some games.
Other games. So we'll grow up as like gamers, really, and they've never grown up as gamers. And if they're gonna teach their kids like they should be like gamers or whatever, and that's still fair enough. But as long as they get the right age. Games.
Yeah.
And do you agree with the point that playing violent video games makes people more aggressive / violent?
I think anything that's violent can, in a violent person, could trigger anything. But I don't believe it's the video game's fault. For example, if someone if someone is under the age rating of the game or is mentally unfit to play that game, the game should not be blamed for their actions and blame it on the violence in the game. Just because it's an interactive experience doesn't mean it's the game's fault for inducing violence. It's an escape.
I don't agree at all. I don't think there's anything that correlates the two. I think it's an excuse used by people.
Definitely no. All the cases involve some sort of mental health issue.
What?
Depends what a human being is.
Well, you see, like, anger is surfaced from a young age. There could be different things that cause it. There could be family, there could be friends, there could be
literally anything.
Anything in your life. It could. Games can enhance it, but they cannot cause it.
No. So, what basically just Hannah said.
With all that being said, some people have actually committed crimes and blame GTA on their actions. Now many people say they are wrong in blaming the game, but some do blame the game for these crimes.
So in 2014, a 14-year-old boy killed his father and brother and blamed GTA on his actions. Now many people say he was right in blaming the game, but I wanted to find out what people actually thought.
Idaho boy kills dad and brother with machete. 14-year-old Eldon Samuel III is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder for killing his father and 13-year-old brother Monday evening in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The teen's father was said to be ranting about zombies in the front yard and fired a gunshot into the home. The boy and his father then got into an argument inside the house. Eldon somehow got the gun from his father and shot him in the stomach.
CGI
Eldon then shot his father in the head 3 more times before he took the shotgun and fired 4 times at his 13-year-old brother. He then stabbed his brother with a large knife before returning with a machete to finish the job. The 14-year-old then called the police after the killings and confessed. When police arrived at the scene, Eldon was covered in blood, but remained calm and emotionless. Eldon told police he idolizes Trevor from GTA 5, saying Trevor has anger issues and likes to shoot people, and that's kinda cool. Eldon later confessed that he had been plotting the murder of his father and brother for 8 months. If convicted, Eldon would be charged as an adult for 2 counts of first-degree murder and could face up to life in prison.
So after seeing that video, what did you think of it?
Well, I thought, I didn't know what to think. I found the CGI recreations quite amusing, but it is a serious topic, but they kind of made light of that in a way.
Well, it's a sad situation, definitely. But I don't think there's any correlation between the child doing that and the video game.
Aside from the amazing CGI graphics, I thought it was quite educational.
Well, it was very gruesome, and I don't know how anyone could do that to a family.
It's kind of wrong, really, isn't it? If he has that anger issues, then there's no point of playing the game.
Full of anger issues.
Full of anger. Then if he gets inspired by one of his kind of video game, that's kind of good in a way, but really not. It's like kind of making that do things that's just done.
Right, so the boy Eldon blamed GTA for his killings. Do you think he was right in blaming the game?
I don't think he's right in blaming the game. I think he should. He's probably too young to understand that it's his mental capacity, how his brain works, and how it functions.
No, I don't think so. I definitely don't think they should change anything because of this.
Completely wrong. Well, it was either down to his parents buying him the game and giving him violent tendencies, or them taking it off him knowing he's got some sort of...
No.
It can, like I said before, it can enhance it, but it can't cause it. If he's been planning this murder, it's been planning this murder for 8 months, as it said. So it wouldn't have been the whole game's fault if something would have happened before the game came out for him to plan that murder. Yeah. It just could...
It couldn't even be the game, it could be like... It could have got the idea of something else, could it? So it could be anything.
Should the developer Rockstar face charges because of what Eldon did?
No, again, it's his mental stature. he's got the markings of what would seem to be a sociopath and a homicidal maniac, it seems, because he's literally gone out, planned the death of his pet, his dad and his brother. That's not something you expect.
No, I don't think so, honestly. I think it's down to the kid who did it.
Completely not. Pretty much exactly the same as my previous point.
Not because of this case, no.
No, because it's not the game's fault, is it? It's what the kid's done. And he could have a choice, like, not to kill his family.
You cannot blame a game on your own individual murders. It's not the game's fault. It's whatever's gone on in your life.
Yeah.
And should GTA be banned from stores because of the attack?
No, again, it's not the game's fault. It's an individual case of someone that is mentally unstable and shouldn't be around the game to begin with.
Definitely not, no. I don't see why there would be.
No.
You shouldn't ban a game just because of...
From one incident.
Or there might have been more, but we never know. But like, you cannot blame the game for it all.
Yeah.
Because people like that game.
With everything being said about how GTA makes people violent, one major point has been left out, and that's the point that GTA Online can bring people together and you don't have to be violent at all. But overall, it's really up to you if you want to play GTA. But one thing can be agreed, and that is the point that children should not be playing this game. But if there is, there's nothing we can do about it if they do. Why do you think children have access to games like GTA?
Because their parents buy it for them, not understanding what the game contains, and also because a lot of parents just don't care, yet still blame the game in the process.
Because the parents don't have enough control over them.
A poor choice of parenting. Like, if you're willing to let your child near something of that nature, then anything that comes as a side effect of that is entirely on the parent.
So all in all, after hearing everything, just make sure you know what's real and what's fake. Thank you.